Alex Eala walked onto the court knowing this was the biggest match of her life. A Grand Slam qualifying final. One win, and she would step into the main draw. One win, and she would finally stand on the same stage as the champions she grew up watching on television. One win and years of sacrifice, early mornings, injuries, doubt, and loneliness would finally mean something. Her heart was racing, but she told herself this was normal. Nerves meant she cared. She had prepared for this moment.
Physically, technically,
mentally, or at least she thought she had. She reached the baseline, bounced lightly on her toes, took a deep breath, and instinctively glanced toward the coaching box. That was where her coach always sat. For 3 years, that seat had never been empty. 3 years of early practices, long travel days, tough losses, quiet encouragement, and hard truths. 3 years of someone believing in her when rankings said she didn't matter yet. 3 years of guidance that felt less like a job and more like family. She looked again. The chair was empty. At first, Alex didn't panic. Maybe he was late. Maybe he was grabbing coffee. Maybe he was stuck in traffic or using the bathroom. But something felt off. Her coach never missed matches. Not small ones. Not big ones. And definitely not this one. This wasn't just another tournament. This was the most important match of her young career. She scanned the area again. Nothing. Her stomach tightened. She pulled out her phone one last time before handing it to the tournament official. No messages. No missed calls. No explanation. Just silence. Then the chair umpire called time. The match was starting. And Alex realized she was alone. Her coach had quit the night before. Without a word. And the reason why would change the way she trusted people forever. 3 years earlier, Alex had met Coach Marco at a training academy in Spain. She was 16 years old, ranked outside the top 300, talented but inconsistent, unsure of her identity as a player. Marco wasn't famous. He didn't have a flashy reputation or a long list of Grand Slam champions under his name. But he was experienced,
calm,
observant. And after watching Alex train for a week, he saw something others had overlooked. One afternoon, he pulled her aside. "I want to work with you," he said. "I think you can be top 50. Maybe higher. But it's going to take real work. Are you ready for that?" Alex didn't hesitate. She had been desperate for guidance. Desperate for someone to believe in her potential instead of just her current ranking. She said yes immediately. From that moment on, they became a team. The days were long and demanding. Hours on court adjusting technique. Footwork drills until her legs burned. Tactical sessions breaking down patterns and tendencies. But more than the tennis, Marco gave her something she had been missing. Stability.
belief.
When Alex doubted herself, Marco reminded her she was good enough. When she wanted to quit, he pushed her harder. When she won, he celebrated. When she lost, he analyzed without blame. Slowly, he became more than a coach. He became a mentor, a guide, a father figure. The relationship wasn't perfect. Marco was demanding. He didn't accept excuses. He expected discipline and accountability. There were tough conversations and uncomfortable moments. But he was always there. Every tournament, every practice, every setback. When Alex couldn't afford to travel to certain events, Marco helped find sponsors. When injuries crept in, he adjusted her training. When confidence disappeared, he rebuilt it patiently, piece by piece. They grew together. Over 3 years, Alex's ranking climbed steadily. From outside the top 300 to 200. From 200 to 150. From 150 to knocking on the door of the top 100. And now she was here. One match away from the main draw of a Grand Slam. The dream they had chased together. The night before the match, they sat in her hotel room reviewing the game plan. Marco had scouted her opponent thoroughly. He knew her tendencies, her patterns, her weaknesses. Served her backhand, he said. Make her move. Stay patient. Don't rush points. She breaks down if you don't give her pace. Alex listened carefully, nodding. You're the better player, Marco continued. You just need to execute. They visualized key moments. Big points. Pressure games. How to respond if momentum shifted. Marco was calm, confident. "You're ready for this," he said. "I've watched you prepare. You're winning tomorrow. And once you're in the main draw, everything changes." Alex felt reassured. After 3 years, his belief felt unbreakable. Before leaving, Marco placed a hand on her shoulder. "Get some rest. Big day tomorrow. I'll see you at the courts." "Thanks, Marco," Alex said, "for everything." He nodded, gave her a reassuring pat, and left. That was the last time she saw him as her coach. The next morning, Alex followed her routine perfectly. Breakfast, hydration,
Stretching.
mental preparation. She sent Marco a text. "Good morning. See you at 10 o'clock for warm-up." No response. That was unusual, but she didn't panic yet. Maybe his phone was off. Maybe he was already at the courts. She arrived early, at 9:30, giving herself plenty of time to settle in. She looked around. No Marco. She checked the coaching area.
Still nothing.
She texted again. "I'm here. Where are you?" No response. Now anxiety began creeping in. She called him. Straight to voicemail. Again. Voicemail. At 10 o'clock, her hitting partner arrived. "Have you seen Marco?" Alex asked. He shook his head. "Not this morning." Alex tried to stay calm. Maybe there was traffic. Maybe something came up and he'd arrive any minute with an explanation. But minutes passed. 10:15, 10:30.
Still nothing.
She approached the tournament desk. "Have you seen my coach, Marco Salazar?" The attendant checked the list. "No, sorry. He hasn't checked in today." They tried calling him. Voicemail. Her match was in 90 minutes. And that's when the reality began to settle in. He wasn't coming. Alex warmed up, but her mind wasn't present. Every swing felt mechanical. Every thought spiraled back to the same question. Where is he? Is he okay? Why isn't he here? At 11:30, she walked toward the court alone. Her opponent arrived with her coach, relaxed, confident, discussing strategy. Alex felt the contrast like a punch to the chest. She was supposed to have someone in her corner. Instead, there was an empty chair waiting for her. She told herself to focus. Marco had given her the plan. She knew what to do. But tennis isn't played only with technique. It's played with the mind. And walking onto that court without him felt like walking into a storm without shelter. The chair umpire called them in for the pre-match meeting. Alex sat there, glancing once more at the empty coaching box, hoping he might appear at the last second. He didn't. The match began, and Alex was completely on her own. Alex served the opening game. Normally, her routine grounded her. Bounce the ball. Deep breath. Visualize the target. Trust the swing. But this time, her mind wouldn't settle. Her first serve clipped the net and fell short.
Fault.
She tried again. The serve landed in, but her opponent returned aggressively, pushing Alex back immediately. 2 shots later, Alex made an unforced error. As she walked back to the baseline, her eyes drifted again toward the coaching box. Still empty. The second point, she rushed. The third, she hesitated. The fourth, she double faulted. The game slipped away quickly. So did the next one. Her opponent wasn't doing anything extraordinary. She was solid, focused, executing her patterns. But Alex wasn't really playing tennis yet. She was playing inside her head. Every changeover felt heavier. Every missed shot fed the same loop of questions. Why isn't he here? Did something happen? Did I do something wrong? Her opponent's coach was active, offering encouragement, calm gestures, subtle signals. Alex had nothing but silence. At the first changeover, she sat down, towel over her head, trying to block everything out. Focus. Just focus. Serve to the backhand. Make her run. Stay patient. That was the plan Marco had drilled into her the night before. But without him there to reinforce it, to adjust when things weren't working, she felt untethered. Alone in every decision. The first set slipped away 6-2. Alex walked to her chair at the end of the set feeling numb. Not angry yet. Not devastated. Just hollow. She told herself she could still turn it around. Plenty of matches had started badly and ended in victory. She'd done it before. The second set began with more intent. She moved her feet better, took more margin, won a couple of longer rallies. At 3 games all, the match tightened. This was the moment. The kind of moment where Marco would normally lean forward in his seat, where he'd give her a look that said, "Stay calm, stay patient, you're okay." Instead, there was nothing. She double faulted on break point. Then again. Not because her technique had suddenly vanished, but because her mind fractured under pressure. She lost her serve. Her shoulders slumped slightly as she walked to the bench. She stared at the ground, listening to the sounds of the match around her, feeling strangely disconnected from all of it. The next game went quickly. Then another. And just like that, it was over. 6-2, 6-4. Alex had lost the qualifying final. She shook hands at the net. Her opponent said something kind, but Alex barely registered the words. She nodded automatically and walked off the court feeling like she was floating outside her body. This wasn't just a loss. This felt like abandonment. In the locker room, Alex sat down on the bench and finally checked her phone again. There was a message from Marco, sent 30 minutes earlier. Her heart started pounding. Please let it be an emergency, she thought. Please let there be a reason that makes this make sense. She opened the message. Alex, I'm sorry I wasn't there today. I had to make a difficult decision. I've accepted a position with another player. The opportunity came up suddenly, and they needed me to start immediately. I wish you all the best. You're a great player, and you'll go far. Thanks for the 3 years. Marco. Alex read it once. Then again. Then a third time. The words settled slowly, painfully. There had been no accident, no emergency, no misunderstanding. He had chosen another player, another opportunity, and he hadn't even told her before the match. He had let her walk onto the biggest court of her life alone. A text message. During her match, her hands began to shake. This wasn't just about tennis anymore. This was betrayal. 3 years of trust shattered in a single paragraph. 3 years of "I believe in you," revealed to be conditional. She sat there staring at the phone as tears finally broke free. Quiet at first, then uncontrollable. She wanted to scream, to throw the phone across the room, to call him and demand an explanation. But instead, she just sat there, crying, feeling smaller and more alone than she ever had in her career. Eventually, she forced herself to leave the locker room. The tournament was over for her. As she walked through the player areas, she saw scenes that made the pain sharper. Players celebrating qualification with their teams. Others being comforted after losses, arms around shoulders, quiet reassurance. Alex walked alone. Back at her hotel room, she let herself collapse. The full truth didn't come immediately. It emerged slowly over the next few days through whispers, messages, and conversations in the tennis community. The other player, Marco, had left for was 17. From a wealthy family, highly resourced, well-connected. They had noticed Alex's recent progress. They approached Marco a week earlier. The offer was generous. Double the pay, first-class flights, 5-star hotels, a multi-year contract with guaranteed money, regardless of results. Everything Marco didn't have with Alex, who struggled to afford even a modest coaching salary and traveled economy whenever possible. Marco had been negotiating for days. Then came the ultimatum. Start immediately, or they'd find someone else. Their first tournament overlapped with Alex's qualifying final. Marco had a choice, and he chose security, comfort, money. When Alex learned this, her sadness turned into rage. Not because he left. Coaches leave. That's part of the business. But because of how he left, the timing, the deception, the cowardice. He could have told her, could have finished the qualifier, could have given notice, could have shown basic respect. Instead, he disappeared. Her manager advised her not to confront him. Don't give him the satisfaction, he said. Stay professional. Publicly, Alex said nothing. Privately, she struggled. Finding a new coach was harder than expected. Not because of a lack of options, but because trust was gone. Every interview felt suspicious. How long until this one leaves too? Eventually she met Sophia. Late 50s. Experienced.
Calm. Direct.
Sophia listened as Alex explained everything. Then she said something simple. I can't promise I'll be your coach forever, but I can promise I'll never leave you the night before a big match. I'll never lie to you, and if I ever need to leave, you'll know long before it happens. That was enough. They started working together. Under Sophia, Alex improved.
But more importantly, she healed.
Sophia helped her understand that Marco's choice said nothing about her worth. Slowly, the anger faded. Months later, Alex began seeing Marco again at tournaments, coaching his new player. The first time, her stomach dropped. Marco eventually approached her. You're playing well, he said. New coach seems good. Thanks, Alex replied and walked away. The bridge was burned. About a year later, Alex faced Marco's new player in a tournament match. This time, she had Sophia in her corner. The match was close. Alex won in 3 sets. As she walked off the court, she glanced once at Marco. He was packing his bag, his player upset. Their eyes met briefly. Alex didn't feel anger. She felt free. Time has a way of revealing what really matters. In the months after that qualifying final, Alex Eala didn't suddenly transform into a different person. She didn't wake up one day completely healed. The betrayal didn't disappear just because she found a new coach or played a few good matches. It lingered. Sometimes it showed up as hesitation on big points. Sometimes as distance in new professional relationships. Sometimes as quiet anger she didn't fully understand yet. But slowly, match by match, training session by training session, she rebuilt. Sophia didn't rush the process. She understood that Alex wasn't just recovering from a loss. She was recovering from a broken belief system. Sophia focused on fundamentals, on structure, on consistency, on separating results from self-worth. More importantly, she showed up every day, every match. No surprises, no empty chairs. And that mattered more than any technical adjustment. Alex's tennis began to stabilize, then improve. Her decision-making sharpened. Her confidence returned, not in bursts, but steadily. The kind of confidence that comes from knowing someone in your corner isn't going anywhere. A year after Marco left, Alex qualified for her first Grand Slam main draw. She stood on that court remembering the night she had once imagined sharing that moment with him. And instead of sadness, she felt something else. Gratitude. Not for what he did, but for what she learned. She had done it without him. Over the next 2 years, Alex continued climbing. Top 100, then top 75, then top 50. Everything Marco once said she could become, she became. Without him. At tournaments, she occasionally saw him. Sometimes coaching, sometimes alone. She never confronted him, never demanded an apology, never needed closure from him. Because closure doesn't always come from conversations. Sometimes it comes from growth. 2 years after the incident, Alex was asked about it in an interview. The rumors had followed her. People wanted to know the truth. She took a breath before answering. Yes, my coach left the night before the biggest match of my career at that point, she said. And yes, it was devastating. She didn't sugarcoat it. I felt betrayed. I felt abandoned. But then she paused. And I learned something important. In professional sports, and probably in life, loyalty is rare. Most relationships have conditions. That's reality. She looked directly at the interviewer. But what matters is how people handle change. Marco could have left with integrity. He could have finished the tournament. He could have spoken to me face to face. He didn't. And that told me everything I needed to know about his character. She didn't sound bitter. She sounded clear. I don't expect unconditional loyalty from everyone. But I do expect honesty, respect, and basic human decency. The people in my corner now have that. When asked if she ever spoke to Marco about it, she shook her head. I don't need to. I needed answers then. I don't need them now. I've moved on. The interviewer pressed further. Do you think what he did was unethical? Alex thought carefully. I think it was legal. Coaches can leave. That's the business. But legal and ethical aren't always the same. Timing matters. How you treat people matters. Leaving someone alone for the most important moment of their life because a better paycheck appeared, that's a choice. He made his. The story could have ended there. But life has a way of adding epilogues. 3 years after Marco left, Alex was competing in a WTA tournament as a seeded player. During warm-up, she noticed him in the player area. This time, he wasn't coaching anyone. He was alone. Later, she learned what had happened. The wealthy teenage player Marco left for had burned out, retired from tennis at 20. The guaranteed future Marco thought he was securing had vanished. When Marco saw Alex, he approached her. I know you probably don't want to talk, he said, but I just wanted to say I'm proud of what you've accomplished. You proved me right about your potential. Alex looked at him. This man, who once meant everything, now meant nothing. She could have said many things. She could have pointed out the irony. She could have expressed the hurt he caused. Instead, she said one word, thanks, and walked away. Because he didn't deserve her anger anymore. He didn't deserve her energy. She had already won. And that, quietly, was the greatest victory of all. If this story resonates, it's because you've lived a version of it. Maybe not in tennis, but in life. A mentor who disappeared when you needed them most. A friend who stayed until it got inconvenient. A partner who chose comfort over commitment. The pain isn't just that they left. It's how they left. The timing, the silence, the disrespect. And in those moments, you ask the same questions Alex did. What did I do wrong? Can I trust anyone again? Does loyalty even exist? Here's what Alex's story teaches. You didn't do anything wrong. Their betrayal reflects their character, not your value. And yes, it hurts. It's supposed to, but it also clarifies. It shows you who deserves access to you and who doesn't. It teaches you to recognize loyalty not as words, but as actions. Consistent presence. Honest communication. Respect, even when circumstances change. Alex found that with Sophia. And because she knew what abandonment felt like, she learned to cherish loyalty deeply. The other lesson is about boundaries. Marco's mistake wasn't leaving. It was how he left. He chose the path of least resistance for himself, regardless of the damage to someone who trusted him. And that revealed everything. Alex learned never to assume loyalty where it hadn't been proven, to ask hard questions, to protect herself emotionally, to value integrity over promises. If you're standing right now in the aftermath of someone walking away, let this be a reminder. You will trust again, but you will trust smarter. And when you find the people who stay, who choose you when it's not convenient, those relationships will be stronger than anything you had before. Because they're built on truth. Not convenience. Not conditions. Not contracts. Alex Eala's coach quit the night before her biggest match. It almost broke her, but she survived. She found better. She became stronger. The betrayal didn't define her. Her response did. And that's the lesson. Not that people won't betray you. They will. But that you have the strength to recover, to rebuild, and to choose better people moving forward. The empty coaching chair doesn't define you. How you fill it next does.